What if the reason you're not growing on Twitch isn't because you're a bad streamer, but because you're playing the wrong game? In this video, I'm going to show you how to find the right game. And I don't usually do this, but I'm going to have 3 different points to this video, and number 3 is one you've probably never heard before, and I guarantee it's going to get you more viewers than all the rest put together. So let's jump into this video. By the way, this guide is only going to work for Twitch because of the specific resources we're using, but if you would like to have a similar guide like this for a different platform, let me know and we'll see about making that video as well. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to use a sheet that I have made. I've made this in Canva Docs, and this is just going to help you organize your thoughts. I'll have it linked down in the description below, as well as a free 45-day free trial for Canva Pro if you like to use it, but you don't need it for this video and for this guide. But I'll have this link down below. It'll have everything you need to actually fill it out, and we'll actually fill it out for me as we go so you can see how it works in real time. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a list of 5 different games that we enjoy playing that's actually enjoyable. Don't just play a game for growth, but play something that you enjoy playing so that you're okay with playing it for hours on end and talking about it non-stop, right? So let me go ahead and make my list of 5 games and then we'll talk about them. Now that we're back, these are my 5 games. These are 5 games that I play. They're very different in nature, but they're 5 games that I enjoy playing and I could play pretty much all the time. And that is Realm Royale, which I know is a little bit of, a dead game that's being revamped right now. It is World of Warcraft, which is just a massive MMO, and I enjoy open world MMOs. It is Fortnite. It is Dungeons and Dragons. And it is Hearthstone. So I have 5 very different games, which should actually help us in our research today to see 5 very different genres. So I'm going to go ahead and change the name of all of these games, 1 through 5 to my actual games. Then we'll keep going. Now we're done there, we're going to go and start researching our very first game. And so the first resource we're going to use is a website called Solinome, and I will have it linked down below. So now that you're on Solinome, we're going to go over here and search for the game we're looking for. My game is Realm Royale, but I know it is now Realm Royale Reforged. If it comes up, there it is. And so we're looking at everything. I don't like to stay at 7 days. I don't feel like that's enough data. I usually like to bump it out to 90 or 180 days, depending on the game, but we're just gonna stick at 90 for the entirety of this video. And I'm already seeing some bad marks on this game. As you can tell, all of these are trending down. And so the very first thing that I'm gonna fill out then is that it is unfortunately trending down. So we're gonna go back. There's a few things to look at here. Right now, we're looking at the game in all languages. For some people, this will be important. Others, it won't necessarily. If we go down here, we're gonna see with Realm, the primary language is English. Other games, that's not the case. And so you may wanna consider that. Is there anyone watching the game you're wanting to play in your language, that speaks your language? So this may affect it in some ways, and if so, I can click right here and I want to make sure I sort and just show me the stats for English views. So we're going to see here that I have the average hours watched, or the full hours watched in the last 90 days, 101,912. So I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to put it down here in the hours watched. There we go. So now, next thing I'm going to look at directly is my viewer ratio. And so what the viewer ratio is it takes the total amount of channels by the total amount of viewers and basically sees how many viewers there are available for the amount of channels there are. If you have more streamers than you do viewers, that's not a good thing. That doesn't mean there's no one to watch. That means there's pretty much no one to watch you, right? And so when I'm looking at my viewer ratio, I'm seeing right here, there's a viewer ratio of 6.4, which is okay. That is medium of the road. We're going to find that Solinome is a little bit different than Twitch's direct stats, and so just keep that in mind. So 6.4 is what we're going to type in here for our viewer ratio. And now we're going to look at our viewer ratio at our specific stream time. Now, if you are someone who's you're flexible, you can change your stream time. This doesn't matter as much for you. You may actually want to change to a time where there's more viewers available. As for someone like me who has a family and a full-time job, I can't change that, right? I am a late night streamer. I'm 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Central Time. That's what time I stream. So I need to look at what games has a good viewer ratio at that time. Come here.
Did I be in your video?
Yeah.
Hi, my name's London.
This here is Princess Heels. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
All right, let's go see what your mommy needed. Sorry, my wife wants to move the living room around. So yeah, that. All right, so now that we've kind of figured out what our average viewer ratio is, this is just at all times, which is a little less useful than the next stat we're gonna look at, which Twitch actually does give us. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go to twitch.com, hit your face over here. You're gonna go to creator dashboard. We're gonna click right here. We're gonna go to analytics and we're gonna go to the research tab. Now it's going to grab probably the most recent game you streamed. We're gonna click off that. We're gonna go to Realm Royale Reforged because that's the one we're researching right now. If it's not up here, you wanna just type it in right here and it'll give it to you. So now it's actually showing us essentially the viewer ratio. They call it average viewers per channel. Viewer ratio, same thing. It's showing us at specific times and in our specific language. So as I'm looking at this, there is not a great viewer ratio for Realm. And I'm aware of that. I'm aware that Realm is not a great game to stream, but I enjoy playing it. And so for me, that's pretty important. And so what I'm looking at is at my particular stream times. And so I stream 3 days a week. And so I'm gonna put in, at the average at my stream time. So I stream on Sundays from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. So I'm 2, 2, 2, 2. So I'm an average of 2 on Sundays. And so I'm just gonna put 2 is my average viewer ratio. Next is Wednesday nights, 2, 1, 1, 2. So I would say somewhere between a 2 and a 1. I'll give it a 2 just to go on the higher end here. And then again on Friday nights. Friday night is a little higher, but it is still 2. And so what this number is telling me is that there is 2 viewers for every channel that is live. So if there's 10 channels, there's 20 viewers, right? Does that make sense? And so that viewer ratio is not great. And so if you guys just want to see the final, what you guys should be looking at, then I'll leave that timestamp down below so you can click on over to that. But at this point, we're gonna go and fill out the other 4 games, and this can take a few minutes. So if you wanna watch, watch. If not, click the timestamp and jump to the end, okay? So the next game we're gonna be looking at is WoW. So we're gonna be looking at World of Warcraft. And I wanna keep it on my 90 days. So this is pretty good. Our hours watched is up. Hours broadcast is down. This is actually a good thing. This is something you should be looking at. There's more people watching it, but there's less people streaming it. That's good. Average viewers is up. Again, average viewers is up and the average channels is down. That's a very good thing. That's telling me there is more room for growth here because there's less people streaming it, but there's more people watching it. That's good, right? Viewer ratio is a 37.3. That's a very good viewer ratio. So let's go and write these down. 95,421. Okay, a lot higher. So what I'm gonna say, this is actually trending up. And we're gonna say 95 mil. That's, if you wanna get specific with it. So that is hours watched, 95 million hours watched, right? That's a ton. Our average viewer ratio is 37.3. This is really good. 37.3. Oh. Now let's go look at our viewer ratio at the time that we actually stream the game, because it doesn't do me any good with that giant viewer ratio if, well, no one's watching it at 2 a.m. when I'm live, right? Yeah, so look, we're seeing, if you can move around, you can see these spots that are a lot higher. You can see there's some discrepancy in the numbers, but at the viewer ratio here is quite a bit higher. But as you can tell, at my time, not really, right? So if I'm looking at, Sunday, 5, 6, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 8, okay. And then on Wednesday, 4, 6, 8, 9. I'm gonna give it an average of around 6. We can do, if you wanna do the math, do the math. But I'm saying the viewer ratio at the time that I'm streaming is still only about 6. I will say, I'm not sure why there's such a discrepancy between here. Now, we didn't look at language, so English is still the primary language. So let's sort over here by English and see if these stats stay the same. The viewer ratio is actually higher according to Solinome. So I don't know. I don't know why there's such a difference between what Solinome is telling us and what Twitch is telling us. I guess I would have to trust Twitch's numbers a little bit more. I would assume, would know better. However, you can look at this and try to find some times that if your schedule's flexible, that you could stream the game. Either way, this is what I'm at for WoW, so let's jump over to Fortnite. 90 days. I'm gonna have to say Fortnite is trending down. I just see too much red. There's more broadcasters. That doesn't really help me though, right? This doesn't help me that the average viewers is down 13% and the average channels is only down 2%. That means there's still a lot more creators. And we can see here my viewer ratio is only a 9.1 and we're at 106 million hours watched. It's still a lot of watch time, okay? Don't get me wrong. Our viewer ratio, according to Solinome, is 9.1 and our information at our stream time. Now, I will say, a game like Fortnite, for me, there's benefits in streaming it because there are so many people that play it. And what that means is if you are involved in a community in any way, there's probably gonna be a lot of people in that community that play it. But we can see the average viewer ratio at almost every time according to Twitch is 1. That means there's one person watching it per every channel that's live, which is why you're not going to be discovered playing Fortnite on Twitch, is because literally there's one viewer for every channel. That's how many channels are live at a time, right? Kind of insane when you think about it like that. So Fortnite, I love the game, and I realize that there's people in my community that will play the game, but at least analytically does not look great. All right, let's look at Dungeons and Dragons. I had a bad feeling this was going to be trending down, but I didn't expect to see red all the way across. That's pretty, yeah, that's rough. Okay, so we're going to go, D&D is trending down, and it probably has a lot to do with, if you're familiar with D&D, you kind of know all the debacle that's taken place here recently. So we're going to say 3.5, we'll say 3.5 million, right? Our viewer ratio, according to Solely Gnome, is 19.8, which is really good viewer ratio, but I don't think that is going to, I don't think Twitch is going to agree with that. So our viewer ratio at the time that we stream, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. So there's a nice shot here on Wednesdays during the day. Still kind of low, but it's there. I'm gonna say 3s, 4s, 4. I'm gonna say we have an average of about 4. Again, if you want to spend the time, do the math. Okay. The next game I want to look at is Hearthstone. Now, Hearthstone, if you've never played, it is a card game similar to Magic the Gathering. And I don't know, maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! If you want to compare it to that. Really, really fun game made by Blizzard. So, okay, we're keeping it 90 days. We're going to look, our numbers are always good here, but here's what I want you to look at. The viewer ratio for Hearthstone is one of the most insane viewer ratios I've ever seen, and I've yet to figure out why, but the viewer ratio is always high. There's always way more viewers than there are streamers. This is just always the case with Hearthstone. So let's go and start. I'm going to have to say Hearthstone is trending down. Just a little bit. So it's not much. I'm like 1% down, 1% in average viewer, 2.9% in average channel, which is what I want to see. I want to see less channels than there. I want to see less channels, or channels going down and viewers not necessarily going down, but at least it's only went down 1%. So I think that's not horrible, but I'm going to still say it is trending down. Our hours watched is 36 million. So we'll say 36 million. I mean, nowhere near WoW, but still. Our viewer ratio was 124. That is an insane viewer ratio, by the way. So let's go ahead and jump over here, and we're going to sort by Hearthstone and see what Twitch says about the time that we actually stream. Oh man, the viewer ratio is nuts with Hearthstone though, right? Look at this, guys. So I'm gonna guess at the average. I'm not gonna do the math. If you want to do the math for me, put it in the comments down below. But I'm gonna say 39, 35, 46, 43. I'll say the average for this stays around 40. On Friday night, it is 30, 31, 44, 55. It gets higher as it goes up in the night. So I'm gonna say that average is around 40. I think that's pretty good. And then Sunday, 57, 52, 56, 71. I'd love to tap into this right here. So we'll say the average over here is about 60. So I'm just going to put our average at about 50 viewer ratio. Rough, horrible math, but if I'm anywhere close, let me know. In just the course of, 15 minutes, we have filled out all 5 of these games. We can kind of look over the stats now and see which game is actually best for us. So here's what I would emphasize as we're looking over this, is I would emphasize, is the game trending up or is it trending down? Right? Because it doesn't matter if you build a large audience in a game that is dying, right? That doesn't particularly matter, because when the game dies, you're going to start all the way over anyway. Okay? So that doesn't help us a lot. So I want to look, is the game trending down or is it trending up? And I will say this, and this may just be the state of Twitch right now, or the state of live streaming, is that all my games are streaming down except for WoW, which is funny because I've heard a lot of people say that MMOs are dying, but WoW was the only one actually trending up and had the next most amount of views at 95 million views. Of course, it's WoW, so what do you expect? However, with WoW, my average viewer, or my viewer ratio at my stream time, which is what I would emphasize next, the most important thing I think is it trending up or is trending down? And how drastically as well. So you may want to note over here, that the viewer ratio, or you may want to note over here, viewers have only went down this much, but channels went down this much, right? You may want to emphasize that so you know the difference. But I would look at that, but then I would also look at the viewer ratio at your stream time. That's the most important things to me. Is the game trending up or is it trending down? Because even if there's not a ton of hours watched, but the game is trending up, it's kind of like stocks. If you see it going up, that's a good thing. You may want to get in on it while it's down here, while it's still kind of low, so that it can carry you to the top, right? So don't be afraid of that. But if it's trending up and there is a good amount of a viewer ratio at your stream time, right, then I think that looks pretty good. And so for me, just looking at these right here, WoW and Hearthstone, both made by Blizzard, oddly enough, are probably my top games that I'm looking at right now. If I really wanted to lean in and I wanted to use this list to find which game that I just need to stream, I'm leaning toward WoW and I'm leaning toward Hearthstone. But also, let me go and throw another wrench into the plan, and then I'll tell you that third tip that I told you would make the biggest difference. I promise it's coming. Last thing that I would keep in mind is your actual community, right? So what does your community like to watch? So if you've already built up a community where you have 15, 20, 30 viewers, you may not want to just drastically switch games because the stats say so. If you want to switch, I recommend doing it gradually, like take one stream a week where you play around with different games, but your other streams are still your normal amount until your normal people get used to the new game. But anyway, that's a video for a different time. What I would say is look and see what your community is also watching, right? And so you can actually go over here on Twitch and you can go down here to viewers and go to engagement. It's going to give you your stats, but then you can go down here and you can see the other channels that your viewers also watch, and you can see the other categories that your viewers watch. And so I can see that my viewers watch a lot of just chatting, a lot of animals and aquariums. They do watch a lot of Fortnite. So even though Fortnite was lower, I may say, 12% of my audience is already watching Fortnite. That might be something we tap into, right? So just use that. Now, the final tip that I'm going to give you, this is number 3 that I said is probably the top tip that you've probably never heard, but I think it's going to increase your viewership more than anything else. And this is simply go to Twitch, go to the category that you want to stream in, find a few people around your viewer size, right? Don't jump over here to the 600, the 10,000, right? Don't jump in there. Jump into these guys that have, about the same amount of viewers that you actually have. And just go hang out. Go look at what Twitch looks like at the time that you're wanting to stream in the category that you want to stream. Go be part of communities. Go actually enjoy time watching other streamers. Go be involved in communities. Don't promote. Do not promote. Whatever you do, do not promote. There is nothing worse than going to someone's channel or streaming and someone coming in and self-promoting in your channel. Don't do that. You're being part of a community. You're not networking. You're not trying to get something from them. You're just seeing what that category is like at the time that you're streaming. And guess what ends up happening? Whenever that streamer sees you in chat and they're talking with you and they're connecting with you and they're starting to consider you a friend, and when they start looking for someone to raid and they see your name, they're gonna be like, what? I didn't even know Dr. Hill streamed this game. And that's what they should say, by the way, when they go and they see your name, is they shouldn't say, oh yeah, he's always talking about it, because then they're not going to raid you. Now, if they ask, sure, answer the question. Don't just lie. But otherwise, they shouldn't know. And then when they're looking for someone to raid and they see your name, they're like, what? I didn't even know Dr. Hills. And then they're going to raid you, right? But just go be part. What you're doing at this point is learning, is this actually a community I want to be involved in? Do I want these viewers, like, that's why we're looking at similar size channels. We're looking at similar size channels in the same category at the same time or around the same time, maybe an hour before or hour after, right? We're going and seeing and judging, is this the category I want to stream in? Is this the community I want to be part of or I want in my stream, right? We're just trying to figure this out, but at the same time, we're building relationships. My whole story is I hit affiliate in 3 days. You know how I hit affiliate in 3 days? Is because I spent months building relationships in a Discord community. A niche Discord community. And so by the time I started streaming, I already easily had the 5-10 viewers that I needed to hit affiliate. So I wasn't streaming to nobody. I'd already had friends that came and hung out and played games with me whenever I started streaming. So anyway, bonus tip there. Hope this video was helpful. If it was helpful, leave me a comment down below. Let me know after your research which game you've decided to stream. I'd love to come check it out. All right, and I will have, of course, that Canva doc linked down below, so check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.